Hello everybody, and welcome to the Super Mario Odyssey playthrough. Wasn't quite expecting to be doing this playthrough quite so soon after the game's release, but you know, I just sort of couldn't contain myself. Like, the game came out and I played it in a ridiculously short amount of time, and then I just needed to come back to it because it's just such a fun game and amazing. And I mean, just even this opening, just right in there. Just, this game is easily one of my favourite games of the year. It just, you can tell already, I'm going to be squeeing throughout so much of this playthrough. But, serious time, Bowser's kidnapping Peach once more. So yes, it's not the greatest start for everyone's favourite plumber, but you always need something a little bit different to get you started in a Mario game, because obviously they pretty much all start with Bowser kidnapping Peach, so you just need to find a way of shaking it up a little bit, and completely destroying Mario's cap is certainly one way to do that. And oh, isn't the little hat guy adorable? We're going to give him a name soon, don't worry. I'm not just going to call him the Cap Guy for the ridiculous amount of time that it would take. But already you can just see in the way that Mario moves, there's just so much extra fluidity to his movement in comparison to previous Mario games that it's just part of what makes Odyssey actually such a delight to play. Because, I mean, really, that is the main reason why I think I fell in love with Mario Odyssey as quickly as I did. Because it just feels so fun in the playing of it that you just don't really want to put it down. And when I first got it, I kind of did not put it down from the moment I got it. So the game came out on the 27th of October 2017. So this part's actually going up a month to the day of the game's release. Which is obviously a bit behind the curve on pretty much every other bloody YouTuber on the planet. But you see, I wanted to make sure that I had the full experience of Odyssey, exploring by myself and having that fun before I went in to do any sort of playthrough with it. But then having, you know, beaten it and completed it in quite a short amount of time, I think I beat it within the weekend, completed it within the week. It was something like that. And considering that was about 36 hours of play, whoo, that's a little bit maybe perhaps excessive for what I would normally do on pretty much any game ever. But I just fell in love with it so quickly that I just had to. And now we get introduced to the ingenious mechanic that really does just open up so many gameplay opportunities, and that is Cappy. Because you can throw Cappy, which is just delightful. You can do it with a button, or you can shake Joy-Con on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I have to say, the Switch as a console is very quickly becoming one of my favourites. And that's basically because of its portability factor. Because one thing I've noticed with me in terms of gaming, as much as I like the nice big TV experience, I feel constricted. I feel trapped for some reason when playing on that, and there's something in my head that just goes, oh, I've got to set everything up so that I can play. It's all set up already, all I need to do is turn the bloody thing on. But when I can play something in a portable mode, I just go into the fray of it a little bit more. It's just like, oh, I can just pick it up and do whatever. And I just actually play it more. It's bizarre. But the fact that the Switch is portable means that I do play it actually most of the time in portable mode, even though I'm in my bedroom right next to my TV. There's just something about the way that works that just, I love it. And so, mixing that up with this incredibly fluid, incredibly enjoyable game to play even when, you know, getting hit like that, because obviously one of the things that Mario's always been is he's been relatively manoeuvrable, shall we say, far more athletic than any sort of slightly plump Italian plumber should be. But now you've got a rolling mechanic, you've got a dive, you can throw Cappy as your attack, you can throw Cappy to give yourself an extra platform to improve your jumps. It means that, particularly, you can do so... well, one of the things that I am going to be doing with Cappy quite a lot, actually, outside of the primary game sailing mechanic of capturing, I believe the technical term really should be possessing, but they went with capturing because they wanted the cap pun. But throwing Cappy, diving onto Cappy and off Cappy can give you easily the longest jump that Mario has ever had in any of his games ever. It's insane. And also, Charles Martinet deserves an award for the amount of ridiculous voices that he has to do throughout this game, because obviously you have the delightful voices of Mario that he does all the time, but right now we've got Rabbit Mario, not Rabid Mario, although Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is also a delightful game on the Nintendo Switch. But yes. Did I just say Rabbit Mario? I meant Frog Mario, but it's like Ribbit. That's why I was getting all over myself. Oh dear. So it's only 8 minutes and I'm already losing my mind. It's mostly because I think in my head I'm going, I really want to do this game justice in a way in terms of doing this commentary, because this is the first Mario game commentary I have done since I did Super Mario Galaxy, which was, well, first 3D Mario commentary that I've done since Super Mario Odyssey, because I did do New Super Mario Bros. U at some point, but Galaxy was the only 3D one that I've ever done on this channel, and obviously that was way back when, right at the start of my YouTube career, shall we say, and it's certainly not my best work, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at the time. And actually, in terms of doing that commentary, I remember getting bored quite a ways into it and just really struggling. But that will hopefully not happen here, because, as I said, I mean, I adore Super Mario Galaxy, but Super Mario Odyssey very, very, very quickly has overtaken Galaxy in terms of my favourite Mario game ever. And just generally, it's a lot more dense in terms of how it's structured with its collectibles. So you don't end up going through the same level structures again and again and again. And the other thing, as we get the delightful title card. It's not the best instance of a title card that I've ever seen in a game. I would have preferred, you know, maybe a little bit more bombast for such an amazing game, but I can live with that. Because we're about to get a delightful first world. The Cascade Kingdom, Fossil Falls. Featuring the one thing in a trailer shot that I think surprised pretty much everybody, and also delighted pretty much everybody. But we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah, as I was saying, this is a lot more densely packed as a game, and so there should be a lot more to talk about in terms of pretty much everything. So, it's all good. And, oh, I love the song for Fossil Falls. It's just... I've always loved... Well, music in Mario has always been outstanding. And I do know... Well, I'm pretty sure that there are at least a few people who are not quite as impressed, shall we say, with Odyssey's soundtrack in comparison to, say, Galaxy's or Galaxy 2's or what have you. But I would say that this is definitely up there with one of my favourite Mario soundtracks. Because there are some songs in here which are just absolute beauts. I mean, this is a prime example. Fossil Falls is just stunning as a piece. It's just got that real adventurous feel to it. And there is our very first Power Moon. Power Moons being the collectibles for this game, not stars, not shines, moons. And really this should make so much sense when you look at pretty much everything related to this game. We're dealing with rabbit enemies, and as you may have noticed, or at least if you've listened to my Okami walkthrough, you will know that there's a pretty common theme in Japan of rabbits and the moon. The reason for that is that on the moon's surface there is some of the markings, and what it looks like, mostly in Asia, is a rabbit and a mortar on the surface, so it's like pounding the ingredients for a rice cake. And because of that, rabbits and moons in Japanese culture have a massive connection, and that is why we're collecting Power Moons, we've got rabbit enemies. It just makes sense. And then obviously you're throwing in all the hat stuff, because, like, apart from the mustache and the overalls, the most iconic thing about Mario is his hat. And so, in having a living, breathing hat, everything just also had to be hat-based, you know? Like, all the enemies are going to be wearing hats of some description. It's perfect. Now, I'll point out now that the way that I am running this playthrough, because it is most likely going to be a playthrough, because while I have 100% completed Mario Odyssey, and I'm very proud of that achievement, there are some Power Moons that I am less than keen to try and unlock again, shall we say. So, what my plan is that I'm going to try and get all of the purple currency in every single kingdom. So in here we've got these purple donuts, shall we say. rock wheels, whatever the hell you want to call them. And so I'm going to be trying to collect all of those in every single kingdom, and then I'm going to be collecting all of the moons that I can reasonably get in a single world. This is not going to be every single moon, it's just going to be quite a lot of them. It's really just a case of rolling with it and seeing where the game takes me, because that's really half the joy with this game, is just exploring and just seeing what you find and all that sort of stuff. I mean, obviously, we've captured a bloomin' Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the T-Rex has got a mustache on it. Like, if that hadn't sold you on Mario Odyssey already, really, like, come on. Don't be ridiculous. That is, like, one of the most hilarious things ever, and I love it. But yes, as I was saying with the collecting things, I am going to... oh, here's something else. Hidden around the world, you will find little sprite versions of Cat Mario and Cat Peach. Cat Mario will give you coins if you find him, Cat Peach will give you a heart if you find her. It can be very helpful if you know where they're located. Now, back to that whole moon thing. As I said, I'm going to just roll with it, see what moons I can find. Up to a certain point, I will be... how shall I put it? This is a difficult one. Because there are certain moons which you can only get after you have beaten the story missions for the world. There are also moons that you can only get once you have actually beaten the main story of the game. And there are other moons which only turn up after you have done a particular something, which you can only do after you've beaten the game. So, what my plan is that once I have beaten story missions for a world, which will have also involved picking up whatever moons I can remember on the way, I'm then going to go through and tackle whatever moons I can remember and can find as I go hunting down all of the purple coins. And then after that, it'll be a case of moving on to the next world. As I said, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to do... well, seeing as I haven't fully recorded this playthrough yet, it's highly unlikely that I'm going to do a 100% walkthrough of Super Mario Odyssey. In part because, you know, I want you guys to experience the joy of finding things and exploration that this game has to offer by yourselves. Also, it's because there are certain moons that I never want to ever deal with ever again. Jump Rope Genius, I am looking at you. It's a moon that I will explain more about when we get to that point, but that's not going to happen until right the way into the middle of the game. So yeah, I'm going to try and avoid certain things like that, because they're just really irritating. And that's basically why I'm not going to do all the moons, but still, I was trying to be a little bit sneaky here, but no, I can't get away from this massive lady rabbit. So yes, I don't know what this lady's name is. I think it's Madame Broodle and her chain chompikins. But either way, it's pretty much as you'd expect, since, you know, the chain chomp is wearing a hat. You've got to make sure that you knock the hat off before you try and capture it. And then it's just a case of just don't really get hit. She's not really too difficult. I mean, you wouldn't have expected her to be that difficult, considering she's the first major boss fight that you're going to be facing. Obviously, you face down, I believe his name's Topper of the Broodals. But she can be theoretically a little bit of a challenge, because, I mean, Chain Chomps are just blooming deadly anyway. But there we go, she's taken her Chain Chompikins to the face. And that should net us a beautiful triple moon. And just... oh, I love this little tune. It's glorious. I just feel so successful right now.